My name is Salim, and I guess I'm still a graphic designer then.
Badal Malik. Charna Jala.
Charna Jala, who are you? What do you do?
I'm a businessman.
Maimuna Jalo.
I do import. As you can see, my colleagues here are using one of our products. This is Technophone. We bring them here, and I think I have quite a few people using it around.
Mom Sednyan, Assistant Accountant at GCCI.
Gambia Chamber.
Lingar Ianson, Project Officer, Gambia Chamber of Commerce.
Cecilia Swari, Director, Buckingham New Academy.
Emmanuel Suare, her husband.
Samanjai, I was a lawyer, a human rights activist, and now I'm working with communications.
My name is Awasinyan. I am an agro-entrepreneur.
My name is Fatmata Jalo. I am a graduate.
My name is Yaja Huba. I just graduated 2 days ago. Yeah, Friday.
My name is Sharif Mane. I'm a teacher and an actor.
My name is Ibrahima LK Njai, and I'm an applied engineering and finance major from Michigan State University, USA.
Good evening, my name is David Cullen. I'm a gender activist.
Good evening once again. I am Aliba. I am a writer and an activist.
Yeah, sort of.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Salim Modunjai. I'm an educational consultant and entrepreneur.
My name is Omar Jan. I'm an economist.
My name is Aminata Jalakar, an entrepreneur.
Good evening, all. My name is Margaret Fala, and I work with Pulse Insurance.
My name is John Kong Jame. I'm a progressing student to the university, and I'm currently interning at African Development Group.
My name is Ajipati Gay. I also work at the Gambia Chamber of Commerce as a business development and research officer, and I'm also the founder of Forward for You, which is a charitable organization here in the Gambia.
My name is Ali Sisay, a university student of the Gambia, a major in economics.
My name is Maria Maba, a student of Masfood and a member of Forward for You.
My name is Majula Swara, and I'm a Forward for You member.
Hello, I'm Usanagi, a student from the University of the Gambia and also a member of Forward for You, the Gambia.
I'm Rick. I'm a graphic artist, system engineer, web developer, and NET computer.
Alpha Sumare, IT Social Media, Gambia Chamber of Commerce, and Gaia Art Cafe Digital Marketing.
Our next speaker right here, honorable gentleman, Dario Bush. He's an architect by profession, has distinguished himself as a true breed and professional in nation building and construction industry before his foray into partisan politics. He has proficiently combined the principle goal of representation in which lawmaking for the general well-being of the people and the enhancement of the development of his constituents. He had several times implemented interventionist program in the area of roads, security, electricity, water supply, and educational support projects in some primary schools within the federal constituency. Due to his vast knowledge and experience and relationship with his fellow representatives, Ron Bush has served in many committees of the House, including National Security, Petroleum Upstream, and was former subcommittee chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and other committees. He had at one time or other served in different ad hoc and special tax terms on various national assignments. and he's also a graduate from Harvard. Please, the floor is yours.
My name is Yakub Dayo Bushalibeoshi. I'm an architect by profession, like you said. Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, but from the age of 7, I remember having a discussion with my father what I wanted to be. And I was always fascinated by marvelous buildings, beautiful buildings. I told him I wanted to draw houses. And he said, what are they called? I said, house drawers. He said, no, they're called architects. I said, wow, the name even sounds cool. Yes, that's what I want to be. He said, repeat it. I said, the way you said it. I couldn't even pronounce it well. Today I'm an architect. Alhamdulillah, thank God for that. At the age of 18, I come from a political background, and at the age of 18, I had told him that I had a desire to delve into politics. And we had an agreement where he had said that focus on education first, and we can now focus on politics. I have been privileged to have served as a special advisor to the then governor of Lagos State. Thereafter, I served as an MP for 8 years, where I served as chairman EFCC Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. I've served as a member of the National Security. I've served as the chairman of on treaties and agreements, and a whole lot of other committees. I look around us, and of late I've heard a lot of talks about how the French president became president at the age of 38, how the Irish Prime Minister became president or Prime Minister at the age of 37, how the Canadian Prime Minister became Prime Minister at the age of 42. I look around Africa and I see that we've always had a problem of leadership, regardless of what country we're talking about across Africa. Having followed or studied how what the Canadian model, I realized that the grandfather of the current Prime Minister used to be Prime Minister in Canada. His father was Prime Minister in Canada. He's also become Prime Minister. And that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of respect for the Kenyan president, whose father was president, and he's also become president. But one amazing thing that has helped to put me standing up is having met the young lady sat to my left. After studying architecture, I went and I studied public administration as a postgraduate course. I didn't graduate because of one course, just one course. I just got fed up, I got angry, and I wasn't ready to go back. So I can actually connect with what you're talking about. When you look at the great minds like Leonardo da Vinci, who's an artist, who's an architect, and everything you can, maybe even a native doctor, everything you can think of him to be, he's been. And she asked what exactly the problem was. I didn't know what the problem was until a few years ago. Prior to that time, I got the support that anybody could get from a parent, a father. I had about 7 private tutors, but they were just not cutting it. So I didn't get on quite well with my father. A few years ago, I got to understand that I suffered from what you call dyslexia. And all my life, there's a saying that something about judging, Albert Einstein saying, something about judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree. And I realized that that's what I actually have been dealing with all my life. This fish thought it was a parrot, you know. And I knew that I was gifted in a certain way where I tell people, please be careful what you say to me. Because if you ask me 30 years from now, I'll tell you exactly what you said, what you were wearing, how you said it, how you were sat. If a fly flew by, then I will tell you. But it would take me forever to read a page. So it wasn't interesting. But I had to find a way around it. How? Through school, I just learned to cram things. So immediately after any exam, if you asked me questions about it, I just didn't know to address it. All I did was I crammed it, I answered, I attempted the questions to the best of my ability, and I wanted to move on. And after meeting her, she put pressure on me and said, why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you? I see leadership is your passion. I've seen you with people, I've seen how you are, I've seen how you're able to convince people to do things by not forcing them, but showing them the features and the benefits. Shortly after I went and I studied, I graduated in December again, where I studied leadership and management from Northumbria University. Prior to that time, I did a course, I attended with her, leadership and, dynamic leadership at UCL, University College London. I got dragged again to Harvard, where I studied leadership and decision making. And to be honest with you, this has completely changed my life, my mind, how I think, how I reason, my temperament, a lot of things. And it's actually affected me when I'm amongst my colleagues. It helped me as a lawmaker because I never sponsored a motion that failed on the floor of the House of the National Assembly of Nigeria. I never sponsored a bill that failed. For some reason, I got to realize that a lot of my bills and my motions were controversial. The only, which was why I said I like him already for being a controversial person. I've had to rebrand myself not as a politician because we really haven't. The politician is a breed Nigerians love to hate. I think that's the case across Africa. But unfortunately, I can't hide from who I am. I gave a talk in Geneva a couple of weeks ago. And it was absolutely amazing. Somebody had approached me and said, wow, his manager has gotten him something to speak on leadership across Africa. And having seen why do I want to go back? Because I meant to go back in September for another master's program in leadership. And he said, if I were you, I wouldn't do any other thing on leadership. I would just make money with it. And I said to him, I didn't study all those programs and all those courses, degrees and certificates, just to make money from it. I actually went to study them to better myself on how I can be useful, not just to Africa, but not just to Nigeria, but to Africa as a whole. I see the difference between some of us who have studied this, and that was why, and those who haven't. And that was why I was able to reference someone like the Prime Minister of Canada, who has been groomed to right from the onset to be a leader. In Africa, in Nigeria, let me use Nigeria as an example. I'm not sure if that would happen, because they would say, oh, your grandfather, your father, what do you guys take yourselves for? Do you think we're here to serve you for the rest of our lives? And as a result, you would sabotage success of the nation just because of a fixed mindset. You say, why should it be like that? I've had to deal seriously with dyslexia. But it didn't limit it. It didn't limit me. It didn't limit what I could achieve. Dyslexia is a serious global problem. I have a daughter. Yes, dyslexia is just means it's a learning disability. It's a learning difficulty. It means we learn differently. And when I applied for the course in Northumbria University, it asked me if I had any disability. And I filled it saying, oh yes, I had a form of disability. And I remember somebody walking in and said, how can you say you're not disabled? You walk well, you see well, you speak well, you hear well. How can you say you're disabled? And I said, well, I deal with something called dyslexia, where I learn better. I don't learn the way you learn. I learn differently. When I read things in English, for example, I have to convert it to my local language, where I think I can actually get to understand it better. And that takes forever. Where you deal with dyslexia, you're meant to be given, for example, when you write an exam, a quarter of the time as extra time. You're meant to have somebody read it to you. You know, in Africa, they tell you don't bring in, I remember when in school, during exams, they'll tell us don't bring in calculators, that would be cheating. And today I look back and think, how can that be cheating? You have to know what you want to calculate to punch it in the first place. I've been able to overcome it, and I've seen a lot of people go ahead to come out with, to graduate with first class and things like that. I haven't graduated with first class, but believe me, I've been able to engage, I've been able to engage professors. When I was asked to chair the committee of the House on Committee on Treaties and Agreements, there's usually a lot of politicking going on that. I was scared that I was being set up to fail, and I thought, wow, you know, when they put you on a pedestal and say, see, he failed. So I had to find ways and means. Fortunately for me, I went to give, there's a drink called Red Bull, Power Horse, and things like that. I had I had a close shave with it where they had said I wasn't going to live past 13 days. This was 6 years ago, and I'm still standing now. It was now discovered that I was practically dependent on energy drinks. They're very rare in Nigeria now. I was on TV talking about it, and a professor from Harvard visited Nigeria and saw me speaking on television, and asked to meet with me, asked for my contact, which I gave. We started to talk, and she's been so instrumental in my success as the chairman of Treaties and Agreements. I didn't even know what a treaty was, I didn't know when I was asked to chair the committee. And I said to them, what happened to committees on works? What happened to committees on housing? Why am I feel like fish out of water. But if you Google anything on treaties in Nigeria, the only name you'll see today is my name. Despite the fact that I struggled with that, she was able to help me. I would call her, thank God for WhatsApp, I would call her and we would speak for hours. She would send me this, she would send me research, she would explain it to me over the phone. And one of the things she wanted was, that actually spurred her on, was the fact that, you know, the growth mindset where I just wanted to learn, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be known for something great. And she said to me that usually I'd have to stay up till about 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning because of the time difference when she would get home and explain those things to me. They actually helped out because when I speak on the floor of the House, I speak from a position of authority. And even I'm able to take on some members of the House who are professors and say, no, that's not how it works. This is how it works. This is how it works, and so on and so forth. When I was asked to speak today about the limitations of education, I was more than happy to come and share my story. I wouldn't want to take too much of our time, but that's me telling my story in a nutshell. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I know, I said to him, I'm better at interactive sessions than just talking. I like to interact, I like it when I'm challenged, I like when I'm thrown, when questions are thrown at me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So since you said you like interactive one, I would start by throwing my first question. What's the biggest challenge you had in life, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Waking up in the morning has been a challenge. But I've always believed nothing, first of all, that nothing is impossible. The reason why I say waking up in the morning has been a challenge is because practically everything I've been able to achieve, I've always been told that, how dare you think like that? It's impossible. So I've had to psych myself up to say that in every negative, I look for positive. And it's helped me. I've gotten to realize that there's hardly anything you want to discuss about that I don't have a bit of an idea on. I may not be able to go into it in depth, but I can actually make sense of it. And that mindset, that growth mindset of, where's the positive in this negative? This has happened, fine. Where's the positive in it? And I get to dig deep and come up with something. That has really helped me all my life. And that's why I'm able to stand here today. How do you define a leader? There isn't a single... we went somewhere today and I saw the definition of a leader. And I realized that there's no book that actually defines what a leader is. A leader is a leader, a bad leader, a good leader. However, there are certain characteristics of great leaders. When you look at the likes of Thomas Sankara, you look at the likes of Mandela. During one of our courses in Harvard, I remember this old professor, Dr. Michael Shinago, when he asked the characteristics of a leader, or great leaders, and everybody was quick to talk about how intelligent they need to be. And I was amazed at how he was quick to dismiss that. If you're a leader, you can actually hire intelligence. So it's not a prerequisite. Yes, you still need some of it. And I remember him saying, I held on from something from there. He said, this is Harvard. Intelligence is a dime a dozen here. But the most important thing is for a great leader to have character. However, we have a lot of characters here in Harvard, but do they have character? And that's what you expect of a leader. There was a story about Mandela being on the plane one time, and there was this very bad turbulence. And he sat still, looked straight. And when the plane landed, somebody said to him, was trying to talk to him, and you know how he walked, he was in a hurry, and he said, but Your Excellency, how come you didn't even flinch when the turbulence went on? And he said, why do you think I'm going to the toilet now? He said he realized that everybody looked up to him, so he had to stay strong to keep them going at that particular time. And that's a very strong character of a great leader. Unfortunately, in Africa, we think it's your ability to lie to the people you govern, how well you're able to lie, deceive them. See, I have them eating out of my hands. No. It's actually your ability to have them believe in you, to have them appreciate you, and to have them respect you. I see a lot of great minds here. I've learned something from Gambia. In Nigeria, you can't be, at 18 you're allowed to be, you're allowed to marry. At 18 you're allowed to join the military and die for your country if need be. At 18, if you work, you're allowed to pay taxes. However, when it comes to leadership, you're not allowed to be. And the question is, really, should that really be? This is something that we talked about in Nigeria over and over again. I've seen quite a number of, correct me if I'm wrong, but since I've been here, it's my first time in the Gambia, and I've seen a lot of young people in position of leadership. And I'm thinking, this is something we really need to also implement back in Nigeria. Culture plays a strong role. That you must respect your elders, you must do this, you must use that, do that. But you see a situation where it's the same people who have been there since independence, the same names that we've heard of, who are still there now. If I'm close to 50, when do I now get the opportunity? I'm just using I'm just saying that. When do you now get the opportunity to exercise that God-given talent you have? I look forward to the day when I turn on CNN and what I hear about African countries is not about them giving handouts, but how we're engaged in international politics. Look at what Russia is doing right now. Russia has suddenly It's as if they've been injected with life. They're now involved, good or bad, negative or positive. Russia is there, China is also there. China was so silent all the while, but now they're talking international politics. And we have a lot of great minds in Africa that I look forward to reading or seeing in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You talked about touch on leadership and as well mindset, and I think these two go hand in hand. But then here, I would like us to focus more on the, let's say, our country, the Gambia, or the continent of Africa. And we have seen the leadership situation which you have touched on and said that it's about how you think you can manipulate the people or make them do what you want that makes you a good leader. Now, the point is that's happening now, and it's highly arguable whether this can be changed now or it is the upcoming generation that can change this. So what do you think we could do? Do you think it's the way we're brought up, what we see? Do you think it's the mindset that's already set in us? Or what could we do as young people to make sure that we overcome these challenges that we tend to face when we become leaders? Probably we are leaders now, but I see when we take up those positions, political positions, the presidency, vice presidency, and the like. Thank you.
One thing I've seen is this, and one thing I continue to tell people is that in life you have 3 stages, divided into 3 30s. The first 30, the second 30, and the last 30. I've skipped the first 30. I'm in the second 30, which I believe quite a lot of us are in. Culture plays a serious role here in Africa, where there's this mindset, this fixed mindset. The mind has been programmed in such a way that, oh, you must listen to Nigeria. They're quick to refer to the Bible when you ask questions. She said something that in Nigeria, in Gambia, in Africa, we listen to what the elders say. But in the UK or in the West, they ask questions. Excuse me, I think, is it Einstein who said education is not the...
It's not important.
Sorry? Education is not the...
it's not as important as imagination.
No, he says education is not the learning of facts, but the asking of questions. Your ability to question this, otherwise it wouldn't be education. This table stands on 4 legs. Okay, fine. The table must stand on 4 legs. You should be able to ask, must it always stand on 4 legs? How about we design something with 3 legs? Will it stand? It's only then you're able to discover that then there's a possibility of that happening. Nobody is going to change Africa for us. We would have to do it by ourselves. Unfortunately, politics does not have... people frown at politics. And I'm always quick. Usually I try to downplay the part where I'm a politician. Sometimes we go to talk and they say, you don't sound like a typical politician. And I say, what do they look like? What do they sound like? There's this mindset that politicians are dumb. And the question I ask is, across Africa, if they're taking the whole of Africa for a ride and have done this for many years, do you really think they're dumb? They're very intelligent. So it means that the people, power is not served a la carte, it's something you have to take, not through forceful measures, but through intelligence. You have to use this. You have to, the ability to move as one. I see that happening here in Gambia compared to Nigeria. Look at this, 70% of the voters in Nigeria are youths. At 50, you're still regarded as a youth in Nigeria. At 50, you're a parent, you're probably on your way or already a grandparent, but you're still regarded as a youth. It's designed to suit a purpose, to suit a function. And to do that, it means you have to speak with one voice to say, listen, this is how it should be, this is what we want it to be. How can you cast 70% of the voters youths, and then you're still agitating to say, can we have some slots as youths? You have the power. Use it well. I still find it hard to understand why this isn't happening. but it means we need to find a platform where we can meet together. And that's why I'm quite impressed and I'm quite happy that my first experience in Gambia, I get to meet great minds like this. This is what you call networking. This is how you get to learn. Oh, I said something now, that going back to Nigeria, sooner or later, in a few years, you would hear of some troublemaker. That would be me. Why would I be a troublemaker? Because I know what I want. And I'm saying, let's apply the Gambian module. Why can't the young ones come together? We have cases where some people are occupied, some are not able to even use a computer well. It's just to satisfy. However, if you do not employ them for political reasons, it would be trouble. But who pays for it? The nation as a whole. And that's why we're not able. You can imagine where you engage in somebody who's not able to handle the computer, to engage somebody like the French president. I'm talking, look at the picture of an African president who's not to engage the Canadian prime minister or the Northern Ireland prime minister. Then there's serious issues. Where do they meet? On what platform? How does it start? So if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. You have to figure a way. You have to find a way. And the amazing thing is, the moment it starts somewhere in Africa, it spreads. I'm more than willing to go start this from Nigeria and see how it started here, or how it starts here. And before you know it, ECO is what, 16 African countries. Before you know it, and a population of 300 million, it will work well. I stumbled upon this, and I think this should answer that in one word. It's a saying by Bertolt Brecht or something. He says, the worst illiterate is the politically illiterate. He hears nothing, sees nothing, takes no part in political life. He doesn't even seem to know that the cost of living, the price of beans, of flour, of rent, of medicines, all depend on political decisions. He even prides himself on his political ignorance, sticks out his chest and says he hates politics. He doesn't know, the imbecile, that from his political non-participation comes the prostitute, the abandoned child, the robber, and worst of all, corrupt officials, the lackeys of exploitative multinational corporations. And this is it just answers it in one word. We're usually afraid to take on political decisions or political moves. We know what the answer is, what the answer will be. Thank you.
For me, I just have like a small contribution and a question to the both of you, because I can see you're impacting lives, you're making change. On my own side, with the little experience I had in Gambia, is that one thing is here, we have this fear in us. Because most youth will be having the capacity, the potential. I sit down in my office, sometimes I see people 25, 26, 27, way older than me. But for them to make that move that will have the impact, it's always about asking for the advice, whether I should do this, whether I should do that. So we have that complex of success. Because basically, you will see someone at the age 18, 17, with all the capability, sometimes it's not even about going to university, of making out something big, but they will always have this mindset that I should follow the parents' rule, and they have these cultural issues, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And then when we look at our curriculum, the white generally, even some in the IGCs, we're just limited to succeeding in school. But what I've seen is that after high school, basically, it's like you're equipped with everything you need to succeed in life. Well, the degree is prestige, but at the end of the day, it takes you that mentality to put everything you have together from the high school, the basic, and then implement it and start making an impact. Because for me, the definition I have for leadership is someone that makes an impact in people's life. And then whenever I wake up like to my office and then I just sit down and I say, okay, I've sent student X, student Y. I see that student having his life change. That's the drive, that's the passion I have. I really love money. Like I say it everywhere. Everyone tells me that, you know, they want to Halis. But the reality is, it's not about the money really, because what's $100,000 or $1,000? I can finish it. I believe that I should make so much money so that the people around me will be able to benefit out of it. Because when I want to become a billionaire, it's not about becoming a billionaire for the sake of being it. It's about becoming a billionaire and impacting in every other one's life. Investing that money in the places they should go, in the education, in the healthcare. I'm not going to wait for my government, because my government is not going to do anything. I've never waited for any government to give me support. I'll just try it out, I'll propose, and I'll put my word out there. I don't really believe that my age matters, whether I'm 21 or I'm 100. If I want to do this, I just put in my mind that I can do it, I can achieve it, and I can beyond the extra mile. But what we fail to have generally is that beyond of extra mile thinking. The talks, the forums, they're all good. But the kids, what they need to do from now is start making the move, start making the impact, making the change. Don't wait for the resources, just get started. Because once you do, with the faith, and then saying that nobody can stop me, there is no one that will stop you. The challenge is going to be hard. Everything around is going to be impossible. But at the end of the day, every single day you wake up and the next day is always better, you feel that satisfaction in it. And we really thank you for bringing in these things you brought in, because when you talked about leadership and education and how do you impact people's life, I just see that we need more of lifts, because I think that this thing will go viral, it can even go global. I was saying bigger than TED Talk, it can be, because we have the capacity in Africa to make the change. If you see all the Europeans coming over, it's because Africa is beautiful. When I finished high school, I didn't go to Europe. I had to go to Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana. I visited Africa thoroughly. I went to villages like Bananko, like places you can't even mention. But at the end of the day, what I learned is that the basic is that we have everything we need to succeed. The only thing we have to change is that mindset you're talking about. And once that mindset is changed, there's no Mr. X or Y or Z or president. It's going to be the United States of Africa within our minds. And that's what we need. Really, that's truly what we need. So my question is that how can we put up an initiative in order to mentor these kids further? Just not doing the lift, but maybe having sessions out of here whereby we can talk to them one-on-one and having people like you being involved in such process. Because we do that, we have educational agencies here and a lot, and we could cooperate in coming up with maybe a program, a curriculum that will engage them into other things. Let them visit Africa. Let them know how beautiful it is in Nigeria, how beautiful it is in Ghana, how beautiful in South Africa. Because some people will just finish high school and tell you, I want to go to Europe. But the reality is that they can even study within the continent. And I'm seeing that Gambia is a hub. We can have a university in here that can be Pan-African, global, whereby we'll have people from Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge coming over. Why not? We have the brains, we have the resources, and we need to come together to put it up and then make that project a success. So basically that's what I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. That was absolutely amazing. I look forward to seeing the United Africa. That will be absolutely brilliant. But for what you said, in terms of how do you actually reach out to the youth, even before they come out of high school, I think most of the people, there's a few students here, but most of you are people who are in work. I think one of the things that you can do, and one of the things that we do in the UK at the moment, is we go into schools. You actually go into schools and mentor these young people. And you won't get all of them, but you'll get most of them. So by going into schools to mentor young people, to address these issues, to let them know what they are capable of doing, what is available to them, is a way forward. That's a start. And in terms of how can it become global, I believe what you're doing here is very similar to, it can actually get bigger than TEDx, as you rightly said, but it just has to continue, and you just have to continue to support the founders of this program, so that you have more of yourselves that are invited at each time, to the point that this place will definitely not be the venue. It will be too small to handle you. But that's the way forward, and I think if you can start with that, that would be a great thing. You mentioned the thing that causes them to not go forward is fear. what is fear? Fear, how do you describe fear? It's an emotion, and we can control our emotions. We can control this fear. We can say to ourselves that I'm not going to be fearful. My mom used to say something when I was young. Obviously, you're in a room by yourself, especially if she's going to travel. And of course, the moment she tells me that she's traveling, she might be traveling like next week. But from the day she had told me, I'll start, afraid, crying, because how am I going to sleep in my bedroom by myself? That kind of thing. And my mom said something one day, and I think that's what broke it from. She said, what is the problem? That even if you hear the noise going, boo, it's somebody that is there. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's true. Whatever the case, it's just going to be somebody there. So it's not like some big monster is coming from somewhere. So we can get rid of that fear. And once we decide in ourselves that I want to get rid of my fear, then we'll begin to move forward. For him to be able to be the writer that he's at, and he writes on controversial issues, believe me, he's taking that fear role, because he's gone to the point where he said to himself that, what is the worst that they can do to me? And he's prepared for that worst. So what is the worst that can happen to me? And once we begin to ask ourselves that question, that what is the worst that can happen, I'm going to go for it. Because the answer to many things is yes or no. And if at this present time, I don't have either, then let me go for it. If I get a yes out of it, fantastic. And if I get a no, well, I'm not worse off. I'm where I was in the first place. So yeah.
Fear drives me. The fear of failure drives me to succeed. And there's a saying that goes that if your dream does not scare you, then your dream isn't big enough. So it's okay to be scared, but the most important thing is, how do you get over it? I just told you about how somebody helped me get over my fear of failure when I chaired a committee, and I would speak with her, Nigerian professor in America. I'd call her and ask her to put me through certain things. So every time I got on the floor of the House, I was able to speak from a position of authority. And besides, that was how I learned. Remember, I suffered from dyslexia. So that's how I learned, and she had helped me understand those things. By starting, this is a step in that direction. If you meet regularly, I would leave my contact. I'm so sure she'd be more than happy to leave her contact. We went to speak somewhere, I'll share this with you quickly, at a school. And we were talking about dyslexia. When we started to talk of dyslexia, and I started to highlight some things. And she asked the question that, how many of you feel like what Honorable Bush has just said? And half the classroom put their hands up. I thought, oh my goodness. Even the school didn't know that half their school had that issue. Now, by the time we were done and we left our contacts, several of them sent emails asking for us to help. I live in Lagos but work in Abuja. She works in Lagos and Abuja but lives in the UK, comes regularly. And I remember I had to buy a ticket. We had to buy tickets rather, and fly back to Abuja from Lagos to meet with the father of a girl called Fatima. Now he has 11 children, and as we kept talking to him about dyslexia, and that Fatima can be great, she can be the #1 woman out of Nigeria or Africa in a few years. He just kept on seeing the little picture, and he kept on shaking his head and kept on going, it's so sad, it's so sad, it's so sad. But the fact that we were able to exchange contacts really helped to identify Fatima. Today, Fatima, I think she graduated last week. No, this week. She graduated a few days ago. So we can always exchange contacts and keep in touch whenever you have things like this, and that could be a way forward. Thank you.
Okay, we are really getting close to iftar, and thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for being with us. Iftar is provided by Gaia Al Cafe. Please follow their page, drop it comments, and share your review. Thank you all so much.
Hello, my name is Dara Bushali Bioshu. I'm at the Lift event here in Gambia, the Smiling Coast. I'm at the Learning, Inspiring, Formatting and Teaching platform Lifts. It's been an amazing experience. It's been a lovely interactive session. We've discussed on matters of mindset, leadership, and being prepared for the future. I look forward to coming back to Gambia in the very near future. I have learned a lot that I'll be going back to Nigeria with from the Gambian module. It's been amazing to see a large population of young, inspired, educated people who are very proud to be Gambians. I look forward to doing a lot of work with them in the very near future. Thank you and God bless.